Thank you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Overcome Yourself. As you know, my name is Nicole and I'm so excited to be here today with Phoebe. Phoebe's coming to us all the way from the UK and I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to her. Phoebe, introduce yourself, tell us about you and tell us about your business.
Hi, everyone. So I am Phoebe. I am 20 years old from this tiny island called Jersey, just around the UK. And my business, it's a child entrepreneurship brand. And the idea of it is basically that, I know, crazy. It's basically that I teach children how to have an entrepreneurial mindset and how to start on the entrepreneurial journey really young, basically.
That is so cool. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Um, how did you get into this?
Really good question. So I guess my journey kind of started when I was around 15 years old, and I just knew I was always slightly different to everyone else. I really, really struggled to make friends at school. Definitely did not experience peer pressure, as in I never really felt pressure to follow the crowd, but I definitely did feel alone a lot of the time and just very like didn't really have any friends at all. And then it just got really bad mentally that I ended up getting homeschooled at the age of kind of 15 for around 2 years. And in my homeschool journey, I think I learned so much about myself. Like I learned that one, I was able to prioritize the things I was not good at, and then kind of also carry on doing things that I really, really like doing, and just learned so much about kind of time management, what my weaknesses are, what my skills are at a really young age. And that's what, and I think also the awfulness that I experienced at school in terms of the things that are happening around me that a 15-year-old should not see really or hear about, I think showed to me how self-worth is something that really is missed in schools and really not taught about at all. And I think by doing homeschool, I really learned about my self-worth without being in the education system, but still getting educated. And from that, I really want to be a light for children because not many children would have had my kind of school experience. And that's where I kind of got the idea from the brand, basically. Yeah.
No, that's so cool. You saw a problem
Yeah.
and you created a solution. Like it's so
Yeah.
simple and it's eloquent, it's genius. I love it. I wish that someone had introduced me like to someone like you when I was younger, right? Like I
Thank
think we
you.
do because I feel like there was a lot of signs of entrepreneurship in me. There was leadership and I was not around people who were like that. And so there was no one to help me develop that. And so, like you said, I didn't have friends. I was awkward. I was weird. But if I had learned to, if I had, if I knew then what I know now, if I
Yeah,
had
of
learned to
course.
take those things that I thought were weaknesses earlier and use them as my strengths. And I think that's kind of what you do, right? Because that's
Yeah.
really what entrepreneurship is learning to value you and then having just the confidence to go out there and solve problems for people. And we all have the power to do that
We
in
really
some
do.
way.
Yeah, and I think no one really teaches you it at all. I mean, it's something that only through homeschool that I really learned. And to be honest, when I did start my homeschool journey where I learned about entrepreneurship, it was actually, I looked it up online, homeschooling, because I was so desperate to get out of school. And I was the one who gave this giant presentation to my mum, like, please, can you let me do this? So it was a very active thing that I had to do as a 15, 14-year-old child. And unless you kind of have that brain that thinks differently, so it's like, is there a different option than what I'm doing now, then it doesn't happen for young kids, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, I completely agree with you there.
Yeah, so that's super cool. So you're very young. But you've already had to overcome yourself, right? Like you had to figure that out. You picked yourself up by your bootstraps very early. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you overcome yourself? Where did the journey emotionally, how were you able to handle this?
Great question. So I kind of, I always say this to my boyfriend, and I say, and this is relating to what I'm saying now, that if you put what a typical 18-year-old drinks, alcohol wise at 18 and put that on a 26-year-old, you'll see they're an alcoholic. And I really got heavily into drinking when I was about 17, 16.
Um, quick note, in the US, the drinking age is 21. In the UK, it's 18, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, we were actually watching a movie and I was like, we looked it up, the laws,
Oh,
and they were
sorry.
like, they were really young. So yeah, just FYI, everyone who's listening in the US, in the UK, the legal drinking age is
Yes,
18. So that's why she mentioned that,
it is.
okay?
You're allowed legally, if you've got an adult around, you can drink over 16. That's how the law works. So,
Okay.
and I think, I know, crazy. And I think it kind of carried on in my life up to the age of 19. And I remember when I went to university, I thought, okay, I have no parents around me anymore. I have no real support system anymore. And if I'm going to make this business work and be what I want it to be, I'm going to have to do everything I can to overcome myself and overcome this so I can perform at the best of my ability and be the best sister, girlfriend, daughter, student I can be in this world. And for, you know, my future children, etc. So that was the big turning point for me. That was definitely something that I don't think is spoken a lot about at all. So yeah, that was my turning moment for me.
Awesome. That's super cool. So how do you help kids? What is your program? Like, are you working with them one-on-one? Do you have a course, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. So it started off really simply. So I was in a lot of Facebook kind of children groups, particularly of parents who are homeschooling their kids, some with ADHD, some with autism, because usually when people homeschool, it's because their child has autism or ADHD and the school can't support them as well. So that's usually where they take the homeschool option. And I ended up just posting a few of my tips on there. People seemed to like it, and then I thought, okay, they're liking my small tips, maybe I should create like a PDF or like a sheet of actually full on tips and tricks, etc. And I posted on this Facebook forum and was like, does anyone want a PDF on how to help your child sleep at 14, 15 when they struggle with anxiety? And it completely blew up. I think I got 250 comments within like the first.
Wow.
Crazy. Everyone's saying yes please, yes please, and then Facebook banned me because I was obviously spamming this PDF link to all these people. And that's when I realized, wow, like parents are actually struggling with this. And I always thought there was enough support for kids who are struggling at school, but there really isn't. So that's when the brand kind of started for me. And then now there's multiple things that I do. So one is I kind of do a 24/7 tech support for just generally children. And I don't like to niche it down to only ones who want to start businesses, because I do know a lot about autism, I know a lot about ADHD, and I know how lost you can feel at 15, 14, 13, etc. So it's generally to support them with life and know that they always have someone who will understand them. And I think because sometimes parents are so heavily in the mix and trying everything they can to make their child happy, and so parents are exhausted, really exhausted. Sometimes they're not the best people to truly like understand from a very objective point of view, because I'm full of energy, full of life, like no real kids yet. So that's how it started. And I've also got a course that basically teaches children how to launch their own businesses legally. So with business licensing, setting up bank accounts and all that stuff. 'Cause that's the stuff that I really struggle with, and it's not fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then I've also just got my Facebook group, which has around nearly 2,000 members in, that is just giving free resources and advice on children starting their businesses, mental health, all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah.
Very cool. Have you written a book?
Good. Yes. So I am in the process. I have an amazing coach called Brooke Young. She is absolutely phenomenal. She has worked with kids very closely her whole life and also wrote a child's book. And we were talking around 2 weeks ago, and I was like, Brooke, I have this idea. All I know is that I want to change children's lives, and I want them to remember that they're already worthy and fulfilled inside of them. They've just forgotten that because of how lost you can get in the world. And she was like, sounds like it's like a journal, like it's a, you want to take children on this journey to find themselves, find their passions, and get them in a stage of their life where they're really operating from an authentic heart, basically, so they're able to achieve all their dreams. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. I've worked pretty hard on it. And like I said, Brooke, she's been amazing. She's put me in contact with all these people, from printers to graphic designers. So that's what I'm writing at the moment. And it's very exciting. I've already got it planned to be stocked and kind of and in schools and things like that. Still working on it. And it's being released, I believe, September the 5th. So yeah, very exciting.
That's awesome. That's
Thank you.
fast.
I know. Well, I'm lucky because
You had the content already put together.
yes, I did. So I've been writing stories, like children's books, just playing with it with my mind for ages. So I really had the content already. I just had to rejig how it was worded to suit what the journal's going to be about. So yeah.
I love it. Are you self-publishing or traditional publishing?
For now, self-publishing.
Okay.
That's very easy to sell on Amazon. But I mean, what's really exciting about this is it really can be sold anywhere and everywhere. So if it
The
does really,
reason the
yeah.
reason I'm asking, okay, because you're doing what I teach. And
Oh,
I just I love, so that's why I'm asking you these questions, because I want people to see your marketing ecosystem. So I'm
wow.
asking you questions, so you're revealing your marketing ecosystem to me. So you're telling me that you have no, because I think you stumbled into exactly what I teach. And well, you told me you have a coach. Brooke is absolutely amazing. Did you know that she's a freaking Disney princess? I don't know
Yes,
if you knew that. I
amazing.
like, she told me and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, she sent me pictures. Beautiful. Like, it is so cool. So I know, I think she actually used to work in Disney, and now she works in parties. And so, yes, she's been working with kids for a really long time. She is absolutely phenomenal. We work together in the capacity that she's the one that sends me a lot of podcast guests. So she's the one that hooked us up to work together.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. And so you've got your Facebook group where you're collecting your audience. You were in other groups posting as an expert. You came into these other groups where your ideal audience already was. You posted as a guest expert. You got everyone to go back into your group, and then you're giving them a lot of free stuff. Like, you're just giving them value on value on value inside your group. And so it just makes sense for them to jump in once they're inside that value. I'm willing to bet some money that inside all those free resources, you have links to all of your paid resources, or some
Oh,
of your paid resources,
yeah. Some
right?
Facebook groups are very icky about promotion. So I've been very,
Mhm.
very careful how I've done it, but I have sent them links personally. So yeah.
And for the most part, when you send your free stuff, you've got some kind of way of saying, hey, if you want to work with me, this is how you do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So everything leads back to working with you. And now you're like a coach, you've got a course, and now you've got a book. And so, like, you're literally, that's your domino content, and you're just rocking it. You're using it in different formats, and you're selling it because people will pay for a lot of the same information in different formats,
For
right?
sure. Every child learns differently and every person learns differently. So it's so
Yeah.
important to have that range of, products and things.
So I love it. Like, you have like fantastic foundations to an incredible business. Like, you are going to do amazing things. So Brooke was like, she's really young. I'm like, I don't care. I've been doing this since I was really young too. And you've just got such an air. You're very smart. You're very, very smart.
Oh,
You
thank
figured
you
this out
so
very young.
much.
I'm very impressed with you, Phoebe. This is awesome. And I want you guys to see that it's possible. If you're listening, like, these are very simple things that she's done. It wasn't overcomplicated. You didn't spend thousands of dollars in advertising because you didn't need to. You found your audience and you said, here's some value. If you want more support, this is how you give me money. That's how making money online works, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So let's talk a tip. I'm gonna ask you two more things. final
Amazing.
tip, like what is like your juiciest thing that you teach kids? Because whatever you're teaching kids, um I bet you that it's going to be super helpful for the adults that are listening too, right?
Yes.
Because you're teaching what I'm teaching, you're just teaching it at a different level.
Yeah.
And then two is, how can we get in touch with you? How can we stay in touch with you? How can we join your groups and get all this free value and give money to you? So let's start with your tip, your greatest tip that you give everyone.
Oh, amazing. So my biggest mantra is that your self-worth is not based on what you do, but who you are. And I think remembering that you're already whole just the way you are. The school system is very heavy on grades and your achievements and getting your work done and being top of the class, bottom of the class, all this stuff. And it misses this crucial component that a child's already fulfilled. It might be that their passions are in creative arts and school doesn't really support creative arts as well. And that is my biggest mantra. And in my journal and in my courses, that is the first thing I teach. I say to the parents, don't go any further until your child has this part narrowed down, because I don't want them to get into people pleasing and need to do this, do this, do that to be worthy. I want them to understand they're already worthy and that they're doing something because they're already worthy, not because they need to feel like they're worthy. So that's the first tip.
Yeah.
Second one, you can get all of this. So I've got a Facebook group called Child Entrepreneurs, and it is as simple as that. I'm the only Facebook group called that. So if you click on it, you'll probably see a group with 2,000 people, and then you'll see a photo of me on the top. But you can also, I'm on Instagram. I'm at Phoebe Gracia, Phoebe Grazia. And yeah, I'm always, my email's on there, everything's on there. So, but
All the links will be in the notes. So for everyone listening, scroll down. You can get in touch with Phoebe any of those ways. Um, awesome. Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much. That was so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
Yes, this has been amazing. So, any last words before we sign off here?
I just hope you're all doing amazing and you're all chasing your dreams, and just know that whatever you do, it does not reflect who you are.
Yes. Well, we got a few more minutes. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Oh, amazing. Do what do your listeners, what are their kind of like struggles just generally, just because I love to be able to talk to them directly. That makes sense.
Um, I would love to talk a little bit more about finding your ideal audience.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
How did you come into these groups? Because you're not a parent,
No,
right?
I'm not.
But you are in groups with parents of kids. So tell me a little bit about that. How do
Yeah,
I
sure.
be around my people?
Yeah, of course. So for me, it kind of started with, because homeschool was mainly autism and ADHD groups, I literally searched autism support groups and joined them. And there was these some groups like 30,000 people. And slowly I kind of started just reading through the comments and seeing, because parents mainly went on these groups because they felt really, really alone and felt like no one understood them. But what's amazing about the internet is that you can get all these little tiny segments of people around the world and put them together on a giant forum. So suddenly you're not alone. And I just kind of read through their kind of stories and their pain and what their child was doing and all this stuff. Their child struggled with mental health. Should they take them out of school? And all these decisions that we possibly didn't have to make as much 20 years ago, but because the internet is such early access that our child can get it so easily, they're being exposed to things they really shouldn't be at such a young age.
So step one was research.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. All right.
And two, for me, understanding people's stories and understanding people's pain. So when people write, they're taking their thoughts into obviously words. So watching how they phrase things like, I
Mhm.
feel so broken because of this, or my child's doing this, etc. And I think the first thing is understanding these are your customers, but they're also people. So treat them like people, is what I'm saying. You gotta have such a heart before you start thinking, not that there's anything, obviously, making money is great and we need it to survive, but actually understanding that these people need you. So how can you serve them before they start serving you, basically?
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's my second big tip. Third big tip, talk to people. Like if you feel like for me, it was, I started probably, and this wasn't to achieve anything. This is just because I could understand them more and understand how I could serve them more. But I would message 10 people a day. I would answer their comments. I would say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And just slowly built these really strong relationships with basically strangers, because I was able to see something without a biasm. I'm not a parent, which obviously has its setbacks and like strong holds, because I am
Mhm.
a nanny and I do singing teaching. So I spend a lot of time with kids. And that was my third one. I think understanding that you can change the world is so important when finding your ideal audience. And how could you change, what people are the people that you could change the world for?
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of the next step. And yeah, and then do what I did. Like if you think you have expertise in a certain area, I mean, you definitely do, write a PDF and just go on these groups and say, hey, I got free resource. Do you want me to send it to you? And then they'll usually give you their email, and then you could start an email newsletter and send it to them every week. This was really powerful. And then we connect so many parents. You could do what I do, start a Facebook group. Facebook is great because it has a lot of parents on. So if you are targeting children, TikTok's the way to go. So just know your audience and know what you, based on age, what platform they think they'll be on, and also which one you're best at and you most enjoy.
Yes,
So yeah.
that's big. So
Yeah.
one was research. Two is creating something that actually answers the questions that
Yeah.
they're asking, right? That's what you're researching. What are they asking? What do they need help with? And then three was, now that you have that, you have somewhere to be like, this is where you can grab it. Now you show up as an expert inside those groups, giving them free value. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, this is great. How can I learn more from you? And then they click on your picture, they download your stuff, they go to your group, they get into your marketing ecosystem. Three easy steps, right?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, so easy.
Yes. Love it, love it, love it. Oh my God, you figured it out so young. You're gonna be so, so, so rich. Oh my God. You know, because compound interest, right? You have like like you made the initial investment, and then because of compound interest, like
Yeah.
you're gonna be super rich because you figured it out so early.
Thank
And
you.
so it's just gonna keep, it's just gonna keep growing. So that is awesome. But anyone can do that, right? Like we have something that we are an expert in, even if it's not business. You don't have to be a business coach for kids. You don't have to do that. You just have to find a problem that an audience has. Like you said, the audience is already there. You don't have to create an audience. Like you have to go find the people that are
Yeah.
already in those little circles, be like, oh my God, this is a problem that they're having. This is how they can solve it. Here's how you can give me money, and I will bridge from the problem to the
Completely.
solution.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, like, people are waiting for you. Like, people need you. Like, they're really struggling with a certain problem right now, and you could be their answer. So, yeah, people are willing to pay for fixing things that,
Oh my God. And like, if you're going to be super rich, and I just realized, like, if there's like a 12-year-old that's working with you and then they figure this out, imagine how rich they're going to be with
I
compound interest,
know.
right? Oh, wow. This is
Yeah.
incredible. That's just absolutely amazing, Phoebe. All right. So this has been absolutely wonderful. We're going to go ahead and sign off. I'm so glad we did that little last thing though, because just, I mean,
Yeah.
it's 3 easy steps. It's just
Completely.
so simple. I love it how you just simplified it like that. And we're watching it happen. This is not theory that you're talking about. This is what's making you money, right? Like apart from being a nanny, this is making you money. I'm willing to bet a lot of money on that. Yeah, because you're doing it right. So I absolutely love it. Phoebe, thank you so much for being here with me. I don't know if you're in my group yet, but definitely come hang out with us in there, because you could definitely be a guest expert in there with us. Would love to hear from you. And I'm definitely going to be hanging out in your group. Cool. So until next time, thank you so much. We will see you guys inside our Facebook groups.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.